Brett Johnson, board member with Employment for Seniors.
And I'm Carol Ventresca, Executive Director of Employment for Seniors.
Well, thanks for listening to this episode of the Successful Encore Career presented by Employment for Seniors, the premier resource linking mature adults with employment opportunities in Central Ohio. In this episode, Carol's going to cover transferable skills and how to make the most of your application.
That's right, Brett. Transferable skills are so very important in a mature job seeker's job search. And we really want to make sure everyone understands what they are and how to identify their transferable skills.
That sounds great. Let's find out what makes the successful Encore career.
Mature job seekers have worked for years. They have built skills and honed those skills over many years of experience. And what's most important is that is part of their marketability in looking at the next job. An employer wants to know that you can do the job they have available. They want to know what those skills are and can you do the job from day one. So it's very important as a mature job seeker to be able to identify those transferable skills so that a mature job seeker is able to identify how they can bring value to a new employer.
Well, let's talk about what is a transferable skill.
Good question, Brett. A skill is something you learn. You learn to drive a car. You learn to turn on a computer. You learn to answer a telephone. But a transferable skill is something that you have learned in one job, but is easily transferred into another job. So, for example, verbal and written communications are skills that are good in nearly every job that is available. Organizational skills, leadership skills, interpersonal skills, customer service skills. Those are all things that you've learned in one job and you can take to another job. Thus, they are called transferable skills.
Okay, here's the million-dollar question. Why is it important to know and understand your transferable skills?
Exactly. Every job seeker, and particularly mature job seekers, need to be able to clearly communicate to an employer the value they bring, the skills they bring to an employer's table. Employers want to know that you can do their job from day one. If you are able to clearly understand and identify your transferable skills, then when you are creating your resume, creating your cover letter, and actually interviewing with an employer, you can easily communicate those transferable skills to that employer.
Sounds as though it could give you a bit of confidence as well.
Absolutely. You really want to know you can do that job, and that is going to make your interview so much better. And there are just a few steps in that process of identifying your transferable skill. So first and foremost, really take a look at what you have done. Not just what you've put on your resume, but think about that job. Start with your most recent job and work your way backward. And for each job, sit there and say, what was I successful at? What was I responsible for? And just start listing those skills that you used successfully in that job. You'll maybe be able to even categorize those skills. They could be under customer service or under sales or working with computers. And look at that skill and list all of the components of that skill. Continue to build on that skill. You're going to be thinking of some right now, and then in a few weeks, you're going to be thinking of some others. So this is a list that will continue to grow. Then, after you have listed those skills, then look at the position descriptions of the jobs you're interested in with other employers and start matching those up. You've got your list of skills on one side of the page, the skills that are needed in the position description on the other side of the page, and make sure they are matching them up. Review each one. Think about, while you're comparing those skills on each side, think about what you accomplished. And then you're looking at information that you need when you actually go and interview with an employer. You're taking your skill, the accomplishments with those skills, and letting an employer know, here's the value that I can bring to your table. You're preparing examples, and that's what an employer wants to know. They want to know that concrete use of those skills, and the examples will give them that. Then, as I said, you just keep building that list and practicing your interviewing, doing mock interviews, practicing your interviewing so that you can very clearly give information to that potential employer.
It sounds like something you could do with a friend or a spouse as well to help you out to kind of explore those skills that you didn't recognize you had.
Right, absolutely. And as I said, this list grows and changes. You are going to be much more clear after you've done this a few times than the very first time. It can be frustrating, but it's so much more valuable in looking at your job search than just basically trying to come up with an answer to a pat question you may have gotten off the internet. You really want to go into an interview situation. You really want to build that resume with concrete examples and information on the value that you bring to an employer.
Also puts a lot of work on yourself to really dig deep on what that job that's being advertised, to really understand what that job's about.
Very true. That's very true. You want to know that you're going to be comfortable in that job, and this is a great way for you to actually do that evaluation for yourself and really explore, is this something I want to do? Is this something I'll be comfortable doing?
Thanks for listening to the Successful Encore Career Podcast, presented by Employment for Seniors. This podcast is available on our website, employseniors.org, as well as iTunes or your preferred podcast player. If you like what you've heard, consider donating to Employment for Seniors to help us defray the cost of producing the podcast. Go to employseniors.org and click on the Donate Now button. Any amount is appreciated, and we'll make sure we thank you for your support in an upcoming podcast episode. Employment for Seniors is the premier resource linking mature adults with employment opportunities. If you're 50 years of age or older, living in Central Ohio, we're here to help you find employment. If you're a Central Ohio employer, our mature, talented, skilled, and dependable job seekers will provide significant value to your organization. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. If you have a topic or interview idea, let us know. Send us an email at podcast@employseniors.org.